Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about Mars when it goes into Scorpio. And let me just tell you, Mars being in Scorpio is going to be the most intense time. So if you think we've had it rough with these eclipses, well, yes, we have. And that is what's created this war that's going on in Israel. And we still have a war going on in Ukraine. The world is heating up. And what is really interesting and what Mars is all about is basically anger and war. Look at all the anger that is all around the planet right now. People are enraged. The Middle East is on fire. And if you haven't seen how Mars can really dominate and create more anger, you are about to see a lot, because Mars has been with the eclipse, and Mars was with K2, and that's what started this whole event. And it happened quite suddenly and unexpectedly, I must say, because I explained in my eclipse videos that Uranus was actually aspecting the eclipse degree, the solar eclipse degree, by an 8-9 aspect, which means Uranus is sudden, unexpected events. Mars is violence, which is lined up with K2. So we've had this horrible event that's happened that started this war. But let me tell you about Mars and Scorpio. It is going to be, in my opinion, worse. Why? Because Mars picks up great strength in Scorpio because it rules Scorpio. In Vedic astrology, we look at the old rulerships in terms of how they rule the planets. So Mars rules Scorpio, not Pluto in Vedic astrology. And I forgot to mention to everyone, before I continue on, I have to tell you about my Patreon page. Oh my God, this is the most exciting thing I have done in a long time. Check it out. On my Patreon page, you are going to have so many values, so much savings. You're going to get all my services at a cut rate price. And I'm going to come together with you personally, be talking with you, and I'm going to put out exclusive videos on my Patreon page. I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it. You're going to get access to my Shooting Stars class. You're going to get my magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights. And you'll even be, if you sign up for the last tier, the highest tier, you're going to even be in a drawing for a reading by me. So check out my Patreon page. We're going to have discounts for my beautiful jewelry right in time for the holidays, and discounts on, also discounts, get this, on all of my videos on my website, my workshops, and the ones to come. Plus you'll get one of my books free. I mean, there is so much that's being offered. Just check it out. You'll see what's being offered. You will love it. We're going to all come together and raise consciousness together with my Patreon page. So go to patreon.com and put in Joni Patry. We have the links right down here below. Don't worry. You can click on it. Check it out. Just look at it. You don't have to join, but you'll want to when you see the offerings. So I'm going to have that down as a link. But let's get going and talk about what Mars is about. I know I remind everyone what Mars is about all the time. Mars is the planet of action, energy. It is fiery, and it represents fire, athletic strength, fast movement. But most of all, Mars deals with anger. It deals with explosive events and accidents. It also rules weapons such as knives, guns, bombs. It rules war, and it rules extremes with anger. And this is what we're going to see, because when Mars goes into Scorpio, Scorpio is that intense energy that's going to magnify Mars. So Mars will go into Scorpio November 16th, and it will remain there till December 27th. And let me give you some of the dates and times that things are going to really heat up, because this Mars is in a position that is going to really cause some damage around the world. The first thing I want you to know is around November 23rd to the 24th, around this time, Mars is going to fully be aspecting Saturn. And this is a really dangerous time. And what you're going to find is Saturn Mars cause all sorts of setbacks, delays, problems, outbursts, anger. And not only that, Saturn is pretty much standing still while it is around this degree portion, which it's going to be around 7 degrees. Saturn 7 degrees and Mars is 7 degrees. And they're in a square. What is 7 degrees? The United States moon. So what I'm trying to say with all of my dissertations, the United States is in trouble with this war. Okay? So another thing around the 23rd is that the sun will be squaring Saturn too. So what we're having this whole month is Mars is traveling in a tight conjunction with the sun. And whenever Mars and the sun come together, which they do about every 2 years, but when they travel tightly together, people lose their cool, they become angry, there's frustration, there's rage, there's conflict, explosive events. And they will be really tightly together throughout this month. Now, November 15th through November 18th, Mars will be approximately around 1 degree of Scorpio. And the sun will be around 1 degree of Scorpio. So around this time, we have the sun and Mars exact. That is so dangerous. Dangerous for world leaders too. Let me just say that, because the sun represents leadership and world leaders. And with Mars on top of it, there's danger. It's a crazy time. You're going to see. And not only that, being in the sign of Scorpio, like I said, Mars will travel with the sun approximately about 4 months, but they come together and they get tighter and tighter and tighter. And by around November 15th through the 18th, the sun and Mars are on top of each other. Actually, on the 15th, they will conjunct the sun and Mars at 29 degrees of Libra. And then the next day, by the 16th, Mars will go into Scorpio with the sun, traveling together exactly with the sun, and they will be on top of each other from 1 degree of Scorpio to 3 degrees of Scorpio. So that is intense. So this will be from November 18th to the 21st that Mars and the sun will be together between 0 to 3 degrees of Scorpio on top of each other. And this creates major anger, major events, fiery events. And then we are going to get the square where Mars will be with the sun, but squaring Saturn between around November 23rd, 24th. You're going to see major things heat up. Another day to watch is around December 7th through the 9th. This will be when Mars is around 15, 16 degrees of Scorpio, which is conjunct the fixed star Antares. And of course, opposed to Antares is Aldebaran, which is 15, 16 degrees of Taurus. Both those stars are opposed to each other, but Antares in this particular position is very important because Antares is the star of war. So that's another big, huge thing. So let me tell you some other events and dates that are important. When Mars does go into Scorpio, it will be around November 1st. It's going to be in the nakshatra Vishaka, which Mars being in Vishaka, it's ruled by Jupiter, it's the undefeated. So there's all this, strength and power and, what comes together when people are fighting. It's really harsh. So, excuse me, November 1st, it's not in Scorpio, but it enters into Vishaka. And it's still in Libra. Because remember, Mars goes into Scorpio the 16th. So, but when it enters Vishaka, still in Libra, it becomes stronger. That's what I'm trying to say. So November 1st, it's in Vishaka. Then November 16th, Mars enters Scorpio. But then it will be by November 20th. Remember, it's going to be in Vishaka till November 20th. Then it enters Anuradha. And Anuradha is an interesting nakshatra. One thing about it is ruled by Saturn. And I believe with that, karma will be paid back as Mars goes through the nakshatra Anuradha in the sign of Scorpio. But by December 9th, Mars will enter into Jesta. And that is where it's starting to come together in the tail of the scorpion, which is definitely more drastic. Jesta is a very interesting nakshatra. It deals with darkness, but it can also deal with metaphysical, spiritual darkness. But people look at Jesta as the sign that deals with spells and darkness and evil a lot of times. But one thing I know, I don't buy into all that, by the way, but I'll tell you what I do buy into. Jesta deals with jealousy. And you're going to find a lot of anger and retribution is based on jealousy. And that's where Jesta comes in. Jesta is a very harsh, determined, strong, very Scorpio nakshatra. Everything you know about Scorpio is what Jesta is about. And it will be in Jesta all the way till Mars moves out of Scorpio, which is December 27th. So watch the very end of this, like probably the 25th, around the 25th to the 27th, maybe the 24th to the 27th of December. This is where Mars will be in Jesta, and it will be Gandanta, because it will be the last degrees of water, which is out of control. And then when Mars goes into Sagittarius, it's going to go into the nakshatra Mula, which is a nakshatra of destruction. But I think when it's in the tail of the scorpion, the deepest part of the zodiac, very deep and dark, this is going to be where it's Gandanta, and that's going to probably be around the 24th to the 27th of December. And this is the tail of the scorpion. This is Gandanta. This is where dark stuff is going to explode. But really, I got to tell you, this entire time it's in Scorpio is intense. And I see one event after another. So I'm going to say that when it first goes in to Scorpio around the 16th through the 21st, the Sun and Mars are traveling precisely together. Great, powerful anger and destruction. Then by the 23rd of November, we're going to have that square with Saturn, Mars, and the Sun. So Mars is going to be conjunct the Sun, squaring Saturn. They're mutually squaring each other. This is drastic. Something big is happening then. And then by December 7th and the 9th, it's going to be where it crosses over Antares, the star of war. This is a lot. And then the end of this cycle, while it's still in Scorpio, around December 20, I'll say 23rd through the 27th, 24th through the 27th of December, we have it Gandanta in the nakshatra Jyeshta. And Mars will enter, by the way, once again, it will enter Jyeshta by December 9th. So get ready, hold on to your seat. This is going to be quite a trip. And it deals with anger, violence, and war and conflict. Mars is going to heat things up. I am really, really worried about this. So please send light and love to everyone on the planet and even to your enemies, because this is what will annihilate them, not more war. That just perpetuates more destruction, more death, more anger. But sending love, remember this, that the light will extinguish the darkness always. You can't bring the darkness to a sunny day. It just doesn't work that way. But light the light in a dark place, and it brings the light. So send love to your enemies. Not easy to do, but we have to, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand. But send love and light to everyone on the planet, and you're going to see, we're going to see together the world change. And don't forget to check out my Patreon page. We'll be doing this type of work together to change consciousness and help the world. So go to Patreon and join my Patreon group and become a member. We'll talk further on about how we can heal the world. So with that, I think I'll close. Thank you.